First and foremost, I understand that this is a very controversial topic, so it's important to acknowledge that no woman ever wants to be in the position where she's considering having an abortion. No matter your personal views on the morality of this subject, abortion is a very traumatic thing for a woman to go through. Therefore, I just want to say that I by no means support the actions of going to a Planned Parenthood, yelling at these women, calling them murderers, and the like. Unlike what the media portrays, that's actually a rarity. However, it is still unacceptable. If we're going to evoke real change, then we need to act with compassion, as most pro-life people do. Additionally, real change comes with having a real conversation, not a one-sided belittlement toward the other side. No woman faced with a pregnancy crisis is going to care about the message that we have unless they know that they are loved, supported, and cherished by us and God. This is the perfect opportunity to just let God's light shine through this controversy and speak through the three of us. So if there happen to be any women watching this video who are considering having an abortion, please know that I speak for all of us when I say that we do not want to discriminate against you for being faced with this crisis, nor do we intend to belittle any woman who has ever had an abortion or who has considered it. We're just passionate about our belief that life starts in the womb and wish to explain why. The pro-life position is not about stripping away the right to make medical choices with bodily autonomy. We absolutely support that. However, as it stands right now, women don't even have bodily autonomy in the case of abortion. She is not able to give informed consent because she's not educated about her child's development. She does not see the ultrasound. She is not given any resources that could help her through her pregnancy, and she is not educated about what the procedure she will have actually entails. Now, that said, my stance for being against abortion include both scientific and biblical reasoning, starting purely based on science. For those that may not know, the gestational age of a pregnancy goes based off of when a woman last had her cycle, not the conception date. Based on this calculation, the fertilized egg or embryo attaches itself to the lining of the uterus in the 3rd week of pregnancy. Therefore, a baby's heart starts beating at 5 to 6 weeks of pregnancy, which would only be 2 to 3 weeks after conception. A woman with an average cycle would find out that she is pregnant at approximately 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks is also the earliest that an abortion could be received, but by this time, a complex series of fetal development has already started taking place. Let's look at some highlights of fetal development in the first trimester of pregnancy, which covers up to 13 weeks. At 5 weeks of pregnancy, only 3 weeks after conception, you have that heartbeat, but you also have the brain and spinal cord that are already starting to develop. At this point, some women may already be feeling pregnancy symptoms. At 7 weeks of pregnancy, only 5 weeks after conception, almost every organ of the baby has started developing, along with its arms and legs. The umbilical cord has also formed, and the baby is receiving everything that it needs from the mother. At 9 weeks of pregnancy, only 7 weeks after conception, the baby can now be seen on an ultrasound, and its reproductive organs are also starting to form. At 10 weeks, the baby now has defined facial features, and the brain is starting to build neurological connections. By week 12, the baby even looks like a little human. Organs continue developing, and the baby has teeth, fingers, toes, and nails. If we found a heartbeat on another planet, as some scientists are trying to establish, it would be breaking news that, my light went off. It would be breaking news that life was found outside of Earth. So why is a heartbeat, by both medical and scientific definition, a sign of life, yet that fact is ignored when it comes to whether a baby in the womb deserves to live? In terms of biblical reasoning, we see very, very consistently that God values life and created everyone alive intentionally, which makes total sense when you consider the mere statistics of how we got here: 1 egg and millions of sperm. If a different sperm fertilized any one of the eggs that formed any one of us, we would be a completely different human being. I'm sure we've all heard these couple verses in Psalm 139. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb, along with, I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. These are well-known verses, but they go to show the intentionality behind God creating us. Beyond those verses, if we look at Mary's encounter with Elizabeth in the first chapter of Luke, Mary had just immaculately conceived Jesus, and Elizabeth was pregnant with John the Baptist. And what happened? John leapt in Elizabeth's womb. A fetus was the very first one to rejoice at the news of Jesus. This further goes to show that babies are very much alive, even if they haven't been born yet. Also, in Genesis 1:27, we see the words, God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Not only do we see that humans are made in the image of God, but if we look at the Hebrew word for create, it also means to shape. God shapes us in his own image. That shows beautiful intentionality behind how we were created on purpose for a purpose. Also, Eve was the very last thing that God ever created. A woman, a human, was the pinnacle of God's creation. Finally, we see all throughout Jesus' ministry that he held in high regard those that the general public deemed unimportant. If society, in general, says that babies are just a clump of cells and don't see them for what they actually are, which is children of God, then our duty as Christians is to reflect Jesus' example and honor them as such. Thank you very much.